All right, live again. Well, I get that fixed someday. Today, we're going to have a short session, and we started early. Something come up. I have to leave and be out of here, so I have to stop everything by 10:30. So I started a little bit early. We're going to keep it short. See who shows up, what happens, but yeah, busy. I've been busy. Gonna be busy. That's the way I like it. So this week we got through the Thanksgiving holidays, steaming right along towards Christmas in another 1, 2, 3 weeks, just about. And again, Black Friday sales and all this other stuff. A lot of people had some pretty negative comments. But when I was talking on a few videos about the gun prices and all that, I'm not. Uh, a couple people go, where are you finding these deals? When I went to this, you're not getting them in a retail store. Okay, what you got to do is you got to sign up to get email alerts from PSA, from Battlehawk Armory, from Grab a Gun, Gun Coyote, Gun whatever, I don't know. And some of them will send you anywhere from 2, 3, 4 email notices a day. So set up a email address that you really don't use and monitor just that. I mean, and also the auction, the online auctions, I have to get from 5 or 6 different places. I get continuous alerts from uh, live auction. Uh, what else is your proxy? But this, that, everything, all kinds of alerts. So there's hundreds. I do spend a few hours a day going through the emails and just deleting them. Okay. But that's how it's like here. What do I got here? Yeah, I got another 15, 20 minutes. I already did it today. Uh, see what the hell he said. Yeah, I go through deleting a lot of emails. Okay, but I also get notices, and some of those deals are good. And also, another thing, whenever I quote a price or say, hey, they're selling this thing for that amount, or try to say it because YouTube shuts me down if I tell you the place, the price, and where to get it, they take the video down. Uh, and this year's presents are Valentine's candies and cards and ammo. All right, sounds like fun. They take it down. But you have to always remember when I say it's selling for this, like those shotguns I said that were a C note, 100. Okay. You got to remember there's shipping, sales tax, handling, and then your transfer fee. So you're adding at least 50 to that price. So if it's, them shotguns were 100, they're 1.5 by the time I get them in my hand. Okay, I'm not going down to the local store and buying them for that price. That's what people kind of don't understand. You can't compare that to a retail price because generally it's wholesale. They buy a truckload, and that's why they're selling them at that price. They have 50, 60 of these things, not two, like your local store does. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, okay, right there. That's what I'm telling you. Probably, so it's going to probably be still under 5. Okay, so it's 200 some less. I don't know. They're not being sold anymore. Okay, so it's probably inventory on hand. I have no idea the tariff. There was never a clear thing on tariffs and all this bullshit you see about it. I have no friggin' idea. But some of the sales going on, obviously not. You know. Yeah, but it goes, and I mean, now all of the, yeah, sometimes before this economic crunch where they're dropping the prices on everything, every now and again, Sportsman's Warehouse would run a sale to where for me to order it online, get it sent to a dealer, all this other stuff, I could order it off their website and get it for either the same price, uh, maybe 20 more, okay, which I just drive to the store and get it in 15 minutes instead of going through all this crap. And every now and again, sometimes even less than buying online. I've actually got gun show prices here recently that were better on than online. I got the stuff out the door like 10 or 20 more than what, yeah, one of the jawbone was 20 more than what the online price was. And like I said, you got to add 50 to that. Okay. And that polymer pistol, I got that for what it was being advertised online. Okay. Out the door. So that's 50 less than if I ordered it at the same price online. So yeah, you can. You got to work at it. I mean, this. I spend hours in a day calculating this stuff. This just doesn't. I just don't get up, trip over the friggin' thing. You got to put some effort into it. And if you do, you can come out. Yeah, all these Turkish guns, or even a Roscoe pistol. If you lose a part to these guns, okay, these people are just selling a product. It's like I have a shop. I buy this product from God knows where. It's outside the US. And even if you bought a brand new Ruger or a Colt, okay, the parts ain't going to be there. You got to call the company that made the gun and order the parts from them. And if it's a new gun, that's a pain in the ass. But these foreign guns, yeah, you order them, they ain't got no spare parts. They might have accessories like mag extensions and that, but they don't have parts. If something breaks, you are screwed. That's what comes with the territory of buying inexpensive foreign made firearms. Kind of a common sense thing. Uh, yeah, but anyway, you can you can get some deals out there if you work at it. And then of course everyone complains that the budget ARs, which they're down now, I see them all over the place. They don't screw around. Them three that I got, the Andersons are gone. They lowered the price and wiped out the Andersons out of inventory. I don't see them anywhere. But the Radical Firearms and at Andro Corp, they're at 3.5 now in several places. Okay. Granted, you're going to have to add that half a yard, so it's going to come out 4 on the nose. And I went to a gun show and seen Radicals at 4. I don't know if there was an outdoor price or not. I didn't talk to the guy. Chances are it is. A lot of these shows, that's what they like to put there. You just give them cash. And that's it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is priced to go. I got two of them, okay? And those do take 1911 parts. Okay, I had to change on the 9. The only one that gave me some crap was the 9mm. I either had to screw with the extractor or something, file it or something, but you can replace parts on that gun with, I think, 1911 parts. I don't quote me on it, but I think they're just made to just a copy of it. And they're good pistols. And you can get them for under $3. I've seen them under $3. I thought I was getting a bargain when I paid $3.50 or something for mine when they first come out. They retailed over $4. But I got mine for $3.40 something, and then the sales tax, and 45 ACP. And I think the 9, it was a blemish or something. I got that for about $3 on the money. Then plus, like I said, you got to pay the shipping, transfer fee, it's $20 and all that other stuff. But I got that 9 on sale, and they're damn good guns. The 45 work flawlessly. And I even think I was firing my damn cast bullet loads in there with that thing. It works fine. See, something like that you could replace with parts. You don't need their parts. And some of these depends on how close they make them. I don't know. Some of them will accept like these polymer guns. Some will accept Glock parts. Some of them won't. And some of them, like what the hell is that one? SAR. Is that the one? I keep forgetting. Yes, SARs. Those may have difficulty, but I've never had any problems with the guns themselves. The Rock Islands, when I used to be able, I was tempted to get one. They're going for half a K, all right, or 5. And they look kind of clunky the way they're built. They're kind of heavy. I guess they're a good gun. I mean, people like them. They sell a lot of them. But when you're looking at half a K and then for 2 less, I can get that Turkish one. Because I was on the fence of buying a Rock Island for them Turkish ones come up. I was going to buy a Rock Island in 38 Super. Okay, they had one at Gander Mountain before it closed. And I was eyeballing that, but then when I went to the gun show and seen the 45 for $3.50, I said, the hell with it. I'll get that, But I don't know. Have you watched anybody do any testing other than an influencer that tests guns with them? I can't remember if I've watched any Rock Island videos. The only other one was the Baby Rock. That's in 380. That's what I was tempted to get. And the price on those has come down. They were hard to find at one time. But not anymore. I'm still waiting to get one of them Caltech. What the hell was that thing? It came out. I had one ordered and they jerked me around for 4 months in the 5.7. The Caltech 57, I think it is. Is that it? Caltech PR 5.7. That's what it is. The 5.7. They came out with one. And again, these hokey, you got one person running it, and this person sells things on their website that goes to another website or something. I got some primers really cheap off of this place and something else, and these pistols come up, and I ordered one pre-order, and then all the stuff uh, just turned into 2 3 months. And see what happens is that 399 or 395 price you see, that's the MSRP of that gun. They had them for 7.5 when they started getting them because they were announced at the SHOT Show, and then they come out, and everybody that had them, see, this is what happened. They started selling them for 7.5, and this guy never shipped the gun to me because I think I paid him. He knocks them off. It was 370 or something, and that's what I bought for and paid for it. And they just, well, 370, sell it for 750. No brainer there. But yeah, and I've seen PSA dropped it 20 or 30 below the MSRP and had a sale on it, but that's on the list. That's interesting. Well, you can't really reload the damn thing. There's some kind of a lacquer because everyone was pestering me about reloading this ammo. I said, look, I don't have one. I don't have the dies and all this other stuff. And I said, unless I can test the ammo, I don't fool with it. Everybody, oh, well, yeah. So come to find out, if you go on YouTube, there's 3 videos, at least when I searched. And these guys tell you that this stuff, there's a coating, a lacquer coating on the outside of the case. And this is critical for it to function. If that rubs off, the gun ain't functioning. It ain't extracting the brass. I didn't know this about this cartridge or anything. And you got to hand wash them. A couple guys hand wash the things, and then they deprime them. They wash them, then dry them. Okay, not in the stainless steel pin thing like I got in that barrel, because that ain't gonna work at all. They hand wash them. One guy puts them in an ultrasonic cleaner. They take them out, they size them, they reload them, but you only get 2, and then see if the stuff starts wearing off, then the extraction and everything. So it's kind of problematic all the way around. That's why you see the brass, is because you go on the gun broker, you can buy thousands of it for nothing, because I don't think it's quite reliable depending on how that coating stands up. All right, your Tokarev, go with that. The Tokarev will punch through a car door, and that the 5.7, you got to remember, was designed for them Stargate SG1 P90s or whatever. That's a 50-round mag. The whole thing behind that, you got a 50-round mag and a selective fire weapon. That's a bullpup configuration, and that is designed, that old Kevlar vest we used to wear back in the 80s. Now they got plates and all this other weird crap the soldiers wear, but we had them old Nam era. You zip it up, and it was about that much Kevlar or something in there. Okay, that whole thing was back in the 80s, 90s to defeat that body armor. In other words, out of a 10 or 12-inch barrel, sub-gun length, that cartridge was designed to penetrate what most soldiers wore as a standard thing, is that Kevlar. And that was mainly, we wore it on a ship with a steel pot. Shell fragments, and if somebody was shooting at us, ricocheting bullets, that's what that was for, is not so much to protect you from small arms fire, but from shell fragments, missile fragments, and on a ship, whenever you're out there, if they thought they were going to shoot, you had to wear that damn thing because it's all steel, whatever, bouncing, spall, fragments, whatever. That cartridge was designed to do that. And putting it in a pistol. See, the thing is, I really don't think It's not better. I've shot it. TCM, yeah, that was the neck down 9 millimeter. You're right. Used to be able to get to 2 barrels on that one. That is better. That's like, all right, the only thing I worked on other the 223 to 5.56 was that 22 250. Now that 22 250 is probably much like this 22 CM. Okay, you got a huge case, neck down to a 22 with a big powder capacity behind it. And like I was telling you, that 22 250, when them bullets started going 3,700, it screwed up my chronograph. My chronograph couldn't read them. It was having trouble reading them. They were traveling so fast. Okay, probably if I had it set up at 100 yards, it'd be a little bit better. But at 50, it was crossing the distance before the machine could even read it. So yeah. But you see, the thing is about that, you can make a smaller, lighter gun. That one I tested, I mean, it is low recoil, but it's a huge pistol. It's size wise, and for what you're doing, I believe the 9 millimeter and at a close range, they say this is going to replace the 9 millimeter. I don't think so. No. What do we got there? Now, what they were complaining about is during the ban of assault weapons, what they were doing is they were putting primers in them that had a shelf life. They'd go dead after a couple of years or something. What you can't get with that 5.7 is the tungsten carbide cores or something. There's some ammo that FN made that'll punch through steel. Okay, that you can't get or something. See, again, it's all this weird stuff. And it's just a pain in the butt. Okay. I wasn't impressed with it. I mean, yeah, you can shoot it, the recoil and all that other stuff, and that bullet's zipping. But to go through all of this, the ammunition's more expensive. Some of it does hang. Okay, if something happens to the ammo, and or if it's that it's that coating, that lacquer. Because I think a lot of people, they were shooting some of the federal ammo and it would hang up in the guns. I just don't like it when you can buy a 9 millimeter for less money. It's just for the intent and purposes, it's more concealable than that. The only weird thing about that little Caltech gun is it's unusual with the internal magazine and the rotary barrel lock. I just want to study it for its uniqueness, not so much believing the 5.7 is a cool cartridge. It's one of them things I just. All right, okay, so 22. All right, yeah, because in the Philippines they had something called a Sparrow. They made a revolver that fired 223 cartridges. The assassins or the hitmen use them. So that's totally out of the old PI there. But yeah, you just cut it down. Caltech Sub 200. That's that. Sub 2000. Yeah, that's them little folding rifles. Those things, even though I never really fooled with them, they were very popular. Them and I think what the hell, High Point made some kind of frigging carbine. I'd go with the Caltech, but the High Point carbines at the gun shows and that, it was another. It's just one of them guns that people like and can shoot with them. And actually, it's pretty neat. Fold it up, throw it in the back behind the seat of the truck or something. You know. I don't think they're that expensive, are they? Let me see what they got them on sale for. Ooh, 4 or 5. They're more than a damn. They're more than my ARs. But another gun I was looking at is the Jackal. I don't know if any of you guys had any experience with PSA Jackal. Don't know much about it, but I was thinking since I'm running all this 223 going retro and all the yeah, that ain't bad then because they're that's a few hundred off. Plastic feed ramps. Anybody spring for a Jackal? I know they're over a K, but I was looking at it. I've heard about them and seen some things about it, but because what I'm going to do is take my retro ARs and get my Mark Lamar, my Set Me L out. I'd like to take that out, and we're going to do some distance shooting with them since we're going retro. You know, it doesn't have to just be with the AR platform. The Set Me L is probably about as retro as you can get. I think that had a shorter service life than the M14, which they say that, but the M14, we're still using them to this day, so they didn't really quite go away. But yeah, Jackal. Anybody? I guess I only got about 10 people here, so it ain't a large crowd. But you got the Jackal, and them retro guns are getting harder to find. They're not making a lot of them. I don't think they're that popular because they're quite expensive. And the 1 in 12 twist ain't doing so hot. You get a lot of them that'll be, instead of the gray, they'll be black, and that they will have a 1 in 7 with M4 feed ramps. So I've done a video discussing that. So it's Ruger PC, way better. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, the Caltech stuff, kind of, let's look. Ruger, see what they go for. Ruger PC carbine. I read about, yeah, they're 7. I always wanted to get one that looks like the PPSH, put a drum mag on it. That one here. Yeah. That's the kind of rifle stock. Nah. It's down from 733 to 666.99. Well, those feed from a well, yeah, I think the Caltech's feed from a pistol magazine. It weighs impressively less than, I haven't weighed them yet, but I'll make a video and do that. It weighs less than any of them budget ones I got. Okay, because they all have some sort of heavier barrel on it. Oh, I'll be sure to tell her that. A jewel, you have a jewel for a wife there. Thank you. Yeah, she likes it. I actually built an A2 style gun out of a kit. Okay, it's an A2 sight, has the government profile barrel, and that an A2 stock, and then she took a liking to that other than the light carbines, the full length rifle, because I guess the recoil, and you know, she basically shooting it off the bench anyway. It's solid enough, and she shoots very well with that at 100, 200 yards, and that was the gun she's been using. But she likes this because a little bit, like I said, a little bit shorter on the pole and a lot lighter. And again, the full-size rifle with the buffer doesn't recoil as hard as, when you start getting them folded stock carbines, the short buffers, the action is a little bit more stronger impulse, put it to you that way. There's not that much going on. You need another coffee. Can I get another coffee, jewel of a wife? She heard me. Yes. Yes. Jewel of the wife is going to get me a coffee. Morning. So yeah, I like that build. I'm working on, and it's going to be different because I still want one of them M16 XM E3s, but it just, I got to go move some things in my collection to finance that project. I'm just going to buy it outright from them. I ain't going to fool around and build it. But with all the parts I had left over that I had to take off that 601 build when I, you know, went and bought all the period correct things with the little holes drilled in it, and that, it was $150 to get them 5-6 little components. But I seen what Brownells was selling that looked like it was before I did that makeover. Okay, and Brownells was getting 1.5 for them, and there's actually one up on the gun broker that's a Brownells that, and it even has a Nodak spud on the lower receiver. Doesn't have the H&R. Okay, that looked like it, and they're asking 1.5 for it, 1.5K. So I don't know if that was a Brownells from all the way back that 6 years ago or something when they were making them. It could be, or somebody made it. Okay, I don't know, like I had to do, because I had to take that early Air Force upper and change some things around on it. M4. M1 carbine. Yeah, I mean, and another thing, I was looking with this, what I decided to do next with all the parts is because I have triangular handguards, I have a muzzle brake, I have all this stuff. I want to build M1A1. And if you go with the gray, it's tough because they're usually sold out, the PSA with the gray barrel or whatever. So I found a barrel. The hardest thing is to find a stripped down barrel, because I have half the damn parts to complete it, you know. So I went, instead of going with gray, I went with black. So I got the lower receiver from PSA. It's marked M1A. I got an upper when I was buying parts because, you buy a pin and something else, they charge you $10, $12 shipping. So I might as well get the M1A upper, which was black, kind of matches up. And then again, the stock, the tube and everything. And the lower components, I got just about, I think I had to buy 4 items to complete all the internal pieces for the lower. And the only thing is, it does not have M4, and this is where you get the receiver, make sure it's not cut for M4 feed ramps, the upper receiver and the barrel, the back end there. Make sure that's standard, not M4. You don't want to mix them up because the gun won't work. Or you got to go in there and start filing and grinding and stuff. I'm going to build that pencil barrel, lightweight, with the old style sights instead of the M2 sights. And it's going to have a 1 7-inch chrome line barrel. The reason I'm doing that is because it was easy to find a barrel in 1 and 7 without the M4 cuts. The tree you got to search. Sometimes they're sold out and you can't get them a strip barrel. Because the whole idea also is to use up all these friggin' parts I got in the box too. And I want to see what an M1A1 will do with a 1 and 7. I already know this one. I tried firing green tip ammo out of it. It doesn't stabilize them. There's a lot of people who disagree and say no, it'll work, or whatever. No, but the heavier bullets at 1 and 12 twist rate don't like it. Okay. Now, if you had it in heavier barrel other than the pencil barrel, see, that's another thing too. If you got to compare stuff, it's kind of got to be apple to apple, because 22-inch length barrel is different. Most of the budget guns are 16. 16 is kind of the standard for a rifle now. And then, of course, they got all the way down to, what the hell was that? I think 3.5, 7 inches for the pistol ARs. But 16 is kind of standard with the budget guns. And that one I built, I got an 18-inch. I really never like going down below 18. I'll make a video explaining why with that 5.56 cartridge. There's a reason why. And, the government profile, like the one guy said, when 22 inches, a little bit unwieldy, where these older guns, the way they balance and they're light. Okay, I haven't weighed one, but I'll weigh them compared to the budget guns. The budget guns are a little more compact, but with the handguards, all that, they are a heavier weapon. And I'm not quite sure. Some of these, they got kind of like a weird government profile where they're thin towards the back and then wider towards the muzzle, and they get bigger from the gas block on up, I believe, or something. So there's a lot of differences. I don't know, whatever's there. So that's what I got planned next. And if I was going to get a carbine, now they make a bunch of them. They're pistols, actually. They try to mimic that. They do make that one with that weird folding stock and a 12-inch top, but you're talking class 3. I'm afraid to even buy either half, because I guess if I possessed both pieces, even though it's not attached, you could still get burned. So that's territory you got to kind of look into. The big thing is, and it's a study that was done years and years ago, back when you only had Colt making a civilian version of the rifles. They did start making a carbine that was 16 inches. And what they did to mimic those little short guns is they made a special flash hider that you pull off the bird cage from your Colt, and the thing slid down, was threaded towards the end. So when you would attach it to the barrel, it would cover the barrel with that style flash hider, like the little XM carbines. So you could have, that's the way they did it back in the 70s, early 80s, is somebody made something like that. And I remember they had it in the gun shop. The guy goes, "There, man, now you can act like you're a commando and it looks cool and all this other stuff," but it really didn't do anything. It was just like a sleeve that went over the barrel. But I guess the one I would get is, I think the 11.5-inch 112 that's pinned and welded. Okay. And then I'd have something, and 1 and 12 is what I'd want. then I can do some experimenting and testing with that out and see how that performs. But years ago, they told you whenever you cut the barrel down, even from the 22 to 16 inches and all this other stuff, the guy said you should think twice about it. It does have an effect on the effectiveness of that cartridge for military purposes. SOCOM type rifle. SOCOM type, what exactly are you talking about? I know what SOCOM is. The those short ones. Got to be a little more exact. I mean, yeah, I see. Do you want to do a dissipator? Well, if you're going to do a dissipator, I found one. It is a retro style, and then you can get the whole A2 dissipator from PSA. But what they're going to do is you will have the front sight where it is, but they're going to put a mid-length gas tube and have a low profile under the handguards. That's going to be the standard thing. That's how they got over the problem. You know, if you're going to do an actual dissipator like they were, there was one guy that did it. You have to drill the hole out in the barrel from one dimension. He gives you the dimensions. You just open it up and then it'll kind of work. But most of the kits out there, most of the builds now have that second gas block. The front one's fake because that is way too short for it to activate the gun well. And to me, you know, nobody's going to see it. Okay. But I was thinking about eventually doing one of those in an A1 style. Because now I'm getting to where, like Carson said, I love them lightweight guns. Okay. I can't pick this thing up, but I got one of these budget ones, and there's a difference. It's a different gun. And I mean, yeah, I know you have a flat top, you can put all kinds of optics, and yes, those guns do perform and work better with some type of optic on there. A scope of some sort does make a huge difference. I tried the little flip up sights and the dot sights. And the dot sights depends on the size of the dot or how it is. I never really did quite like them. It's either iron sights or a damn standard scope with crosshairs. I guess I'm old. That's the way I am. But when I did put them pretty much Chinese scopes on there, however long they hold up, yeah, it does improve. I can hit with it. I can shoot real good with it. See well, you know. And since they're detachable, if I want to get rid of the thing, I just pull the scope off. Yeah. All right, but what's SOCOM are you talking about? SOCOM type barrel. SOCOM barrel. Okay. I got what you're talking about. It's a heavy 14.5 inch barrel with a double chrome lining, like I kind of that build I had that's 18 inches. That's what that has. That has a real heavy chrome lining on it. But like I said, mine's 18 inches. I already got one on that build that I run against these retros. Really, it kind of defeats. You're talking a couple inches to have 14.5 barrel pin to 6. I mean, it looks cool and it probably does shoot good. No, I ain't gonna say that it doesn't. Okay, so yeah, because the M4 is what they use, and to get them, I wish they didn't have that short barrel thing. That way you could get the damn gun with all the bullshit, registration and everything, or having a pin and weld something on the end of it. But yeah, well, anyway, even if you have it that short, when you start shortening them things down to 10, you need something on the end of that for the muzzle blast, or you'll be clearing your sinuses every time you fire. No, the old one, it's just like the old one. You flip it forward, it says L for long range. And I believe they're the same size. I think one just is elevated more, some, I don't know. And you flip it back for close range. They're the same size. It's the A2 has the one peep that's small, and you can, because the A2 you can adjust for 1 inch in elevation with knobs. And then I guess when you swing it and it's wide open, that's for low light conditions or something. And any of my A2 styles, I always use the small peep on them anyway. But no, that's like the original. And if you watch the video where I sighted it in on that little target, even though it's not 25 meters, it's 25 yards. If you do that, and it's really neat because you count the grizz and you do the clicks, and I mean in 6, I don't think I expended 12 rounds. Okay, and I was right where the hell I wanted to be on it, and then shooting at 50 it's on, and then going out to 100, and I have to do that yet. I gotta wait for the weather to get better. 10-4, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to build some sort of AR, I would not, they kind of get a bad rap at some of their stuff, but I've got a lot of stuff from that company, and I've never had any problems whatsoever with. Okay, now some of it does come, it might be weird or whatever, but I've never had an issue with anything from them. No rail, no handle. Top rail, no handle, yeah. And it doesn't come with a bulk carrier group and a handle. But I'll tell you, if you want to buy one, get one of them military overruns. I bought 2 of them, and I'm going to use that in this build because they're 70, all right? And they're the ones that made it the chrome line inside where the bolt actually rides in that chamber. Those things, the last time I seen them, because now they nitride all of them, they want 1.5, 150 for them. Okay. And those I found work better, work longer. I've got them in most of my older builds because that's what used to come with them standard for they started nitride and everything. It's just a pain, it's just a better deal. Yeah, and you can assemble something pretty reasonable now. Especially if you have, like I got all these weird spare parts lying around out in the garage. So, I don't even have to buy a lower parts kit or nothing. Yeah, I guess it's what was happening is the special forces and that were taking the M4s, and I guess they were overheating or blowing up or whatever they do. So uh, I guess they built a heavier barrel to a little bit better specifications, is what it is. What the hell is reading it here? You can go, what is a so common? Heavy profile, significantly thicker than a standard barrel. Greater mass dissipates heat more, prevents warping, maintaining accuracy over extended periods of firing. Chrome lining to resist corrosion. Have a double thick chrome lining. Mid-length gas system. Okay. We found on 14 and 16-inch harness on the operating system. And it says that they are constructed of high quality steel alloys such as 4150 chrome moly stainless steel. Why choose it? Enhanced durability and all that other fun stuff. Yeah, that's what it is. Well, guys, like I said, I'm going to have to end this stream early. Nice discussion on retros, SOCOMs, and all that other fun stuff. I'll see you guys next week. And thanks for showing up and coming.